So at 32, you've never...
I'd never been on a date. I'd never been kissed, never been asked out.
You've never been asked out on a date?
Ever.
This is wild to me because she's so beautiful. Welcome to Ask a Matchmaker. I'm your host, Matchmaker Maria, and on this episode, I'm joined by Allora Dannon. She's a writer, hopeless romantic, and accidental late bloomer spokesperson. And for real, I actually found her on TikTok many moons ago, probably over 2 years ago. And that is exactly what she was talking about, becoming a late bloomer. And now her debut memoir, Who Is She? A Late Bloomer's Survival Guide, came out last week on October 7th. In the show notes, I have a link to her book. So if today's interview resonates with you, I want you to follow her on socials and buy her book. Allora, welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And before we get into it, I just want to remind you that this podcast is for everyone, whether you're single, in a relationship, or somewhere in between. You'll always find no nonsense insights here into dating, relationships, compatibility, and love in modern times. And remember, dating is a privilege. If you found your person, that is wonderful. But if you're single, which I know is a big part of this community, this space is especially for you. My goal is to give you the tools, the insights, and yes, sometimes the tough love you need to navigate dating with clarity and confidence. And if you haven't already, while you're buying Allora's book, go ahead and buy Ask a Matchmaker too. They are both wonderful companions, as Allora will tell you as well in this episode. It's your guide to finding love without the nonsense, and I'd love for you to have a copy. You can also listen to it on Audible or Spotify if you really want to experience a parasocial relationship with me, your host, Matchmaker Maria. Don't forget to check out matchmakermaria.com to submit your dating questions for an upcoming hotline episode. While you're there, check out the Roundtable. That's my exclusive community for singles who are ready to date with intention. And there's a special promo code waiting for you in the show notes. One last thing, I know we have a ton of announcements, but they're really important. As you know, every year I go to Greece and I bring a ton of people with me because I want them to have this travel experience where they get to meet their new best friends while checking out a different landscape, a different history, and a different sort of people. And the philosophy is simple. Come as you are, meet new friends, and leave with adventures and connections that last a lifetime. So in 2026, we have scheduled 3 unforgettable escapes. Between May 18th and the 24th, we have our Crete escape. Crete is a massive island. There's a ton of things to do. You're going to be visiting olive oil mills and a variety of beaches and different restaurants. August 21st to the 28th, this is a wine tour cruise. I chartered a ship and I want you to join me. And we are going to be visiting several Greek islands as well as mainland in Monevassia and Nafplio to visit different wineries and vineyards. And I want you to come along for this experience. It's August 21st to the 28th. The week after, August 29th to September 4th, we have our Escape to Rhodes trip. And there we get to experience a beautiful Greek island right at the end of summer when the waters are really warm, the historical monuments are really choice. And again, you get to experience a whole adventure while making new friends. I will be attending the wine tour cruise and the Escape to Rhodes. And if you'd like to join me on any of the escapes, as well as the one in Crete, use the promo code ESCAPE150. That is our early bird promo code. So you can get $150 off any of the escapes. Or all of the escapes. I've already had a few people book 2 escapes in the last week. So why don't you join us? For more information, you can visit agapeescapes.com. All right, I think we're done with our announcements, and I am ready to talk about what it's like to start dating later in life. Can you find love if you've never dated before? My guest is Allora Dannon, and she's a writer and creator. And like I mentioned before, I first found Allora on TikTok, where she candidly shared her journey of stepping into the dating world for the first time, inspired by cuffing season. We'll hear about her first dates, her journey to finding love, and what it's like to begin dating in your 30s. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. I know I already said that, but I'm so excited.
I'm so excited you're here too. So you have mentioned on many of your videos that by the age of 32, you hadn't
been asked out, been on a date, had a first kiss, all the firsts you'd expect to have.
Why did you expect to have those?
I think so context, I'm the oldest of 10.
What?
I had
whoa, we gotta go back.
Oldest of 10.
Where were you raised? That you have
we were raised in Western New York. My parents, it was very idyllic. We had like a farm for handicapped horses and retired horses, so they were all broken horses that came there to end their days. Amazing. But I have 7 sisters, 2 brothers.
Are the brothers the youngest?
They're in the middle.
Oh,
in the middle, bless them. But I had about 4 or 5 of my sisters married.
What?
Before I'd even had a first kiss. I was the last of my coupled friends. So as much as I wanted to believe when everyone was like, it'll happen when you least expect it, love will find you. My parents were high school sweethearts. So I was like, yeah, this will happen for me. Like, sure. But when it just doesn't, and you don't know what to do to fix it, it like just becomes this like embarrassing secret. You don't know, like everyone, my youngest sister had her first kiss when she was like 14, her first 3 kisses. And I was, at that time in my 30s. And I was like, wow, how is this happening for you? I feel like I missed a class somewhere. And I don't know how. Like, I don't know where I took that wrong turn.
I need to ask you questions about you being an eldest daughter now, because that's not what I was going to talk about right now. But I think that it's
very common in the late bloomer community, as I've discovered.
Okay, let's explore this. Mm-hmm. When I hear that someone is the eldest of a lot of kids, and in your case it's 10, but even when I think about if you were the eldest of 4 or 5, the word association that comes to me is, were you parentified?
I feel like there's so much like there's a negative connotation to that so much. Like I was so like, yes, potentially.
Just for anyone listening, if you don't know what the word means, parentified is when a child is given parental responsibilities over the younger siblings because the parents might not be able to be physically available or emotionally available, especially when it's that many kids. I don't think anyone can be available in, how in the same way that a parent with, let's say, less than 4 kids could be. And even then it's like less than 2 kids could be, 2 kids or less.
I feel like the way, like my parents, jokingly always called me their second in command. And I was so proud of that. Like right. I built a whole identity around being dependable and resourceful and reliable. Like I treasured that. Like when I was growing up. So like looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, that was a lot for, a teenager.
What is the age difference between you and the youngest?
16 years. She was a surprise.
Okay. Well, what's the age difference between the 16-year-old and the second to last?
8 years.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So do you said just now though that you are discovering that in the late bloomer community, there are a lot of eldest daughter, big families formula.
Even if it's not a big family, the eldest daughter thing is like a very common thread for a lot of there's so many different stories. Like people have so many different reasons for being late bloomers, but that is a very common one.
Why do you think it's common?
I think we get so, I've not actually thought about this that much, but I think we get so used to prioritizing other people and what they need and being there for them that you don't even realize that you are not necessarily putting yourself last, but deprioritizing yourself. Because if I say that like out loud, like it makes it seem like I had like a subpar life, which is not true. I had like a huge, big, beautiful life. I got an advanced degree, switched careers, traveled extensively. Like I had a beautiful life, but trying to figure out the romance part of that and trying to also be like the best sister, daughter, aunt, granddaughter I could be, like that was such a huge part of who I was. And I feel like I was only able to detach from that as my siblings grew up and they didn't need me in the same way anymore. Like that was a whole little identity crisis.
Did you ever feel any pressure from your parents or siblings to find someone?
Not at all. Literally anytime I tried to convey that this was a pain point for me and increasingly embarrassing, my parents were like, what do you mean? You're amazing. Like, you'll just meet someone when it happens, like when it's meant to happen. And it was just, they were like, they celebrated every milestone. Like everyone, I have the most incredible and supportive family. And I don't think they realized how painful it was for me, or how much like I loved the life I built, but there was room to share it with someone, and I didn't know how to make it happen.
I just have to commend you, because you've just given such a positive spin on being from such a huge family, and your positive takeaways from that. And then you also added to this conversation that you were able to, from what I gather, it seems like you were like you said, articulating the pain points, or I guess the way I'm thinking about it is like advocating for yourself.
Yeah.
And your parents were supportive. What would you say? I have two questions about that. Number one is like, how did you articulate those pain points to your friends and family? Because one of the things that I keep hearing from women and men is, how can I tell my family to stop asking me when I'm going to start dating? Or how can I tell my family, like, stop asking me when I'm going to get married? Or, you know, it's always like this sort of like, you're still single, so these sort of guilt trips. So how did you articulate that to your parents? And what advice would you give to someone who's struggling with not having the parents that you had, but maybe have, you know, normal parents? Your parents seem to be saints.
We're fantastic. They are. Yeah. They are fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I tried to express that I was crushingly lonely or sad about this, they were like, what do you mean? You're like one of the most happy, well-adjusted, you're socializing, you have so many friends. Like,
how did you express to them that you felt a crushing loneliness?
It came out in like moments. Like my mom and I actually ran a business together for a few years. So we used to travel a lot together for work. And there were so many wonderful conversations we had during that time. And I remember trying to say, like, Mom, like I don't know how to make this happen. And she'd be like, well, have you tried the dating apps? I'm like, you don't know what they're like. She's like, well, you know, how about I make your profile for you? I'll do the messages for you. I was like, not so nice of you, but also no.
I would watch this. I would watch this rom-com.
It was amazing. And I remember, like, I think I had a hard time. It's like people want to make you feel better when you're sad, right? And I feel like when I tried to express this sadness, or that, like, what am I doing wrong? They'd be like, nothing. You're amazing. You're doing nothing wrong.
Right.
And that, it's not like a toxic positivity thing, but I think what was lacking was just, oh, this is actually really hurting you. Like, I don't think people understood that because they saw the rest of my life and they were like, oh, you're doing great.
What was hurting you?
Not knowing, it's not even like you don't know how to date. It's, I feel like, especially as a woman, you are told from a very early age, like, you know, from pop culture media, that you should be pursued, especially. And when you see other people, like, just organically falling in love and doing the things, and that organically doesn't happen for you, you start to internalize, what makes me so unworthy or unlovable? And it doesn't matter how many people who adore you and cherish you tell you that's just not true. It's what you feel. And it's hard to carry it, and it's hard to let it go. So it's like it's weird, like push and pull kind of situation. It became just it felt like a secret the older I got. Like it just felt like this, like I was just carrying the weight of this, and I wouldn't say it was holding me back, but I just didn't know what to do to change it.
And you mentioned before that you felt embarrassed. Absolutely.
It was the most shameful thing I could think of. That, I mean, in my 30s, I'd never been hit on. Like, no one ever asked me out. And I've had people tell me, like, well, don't you think you were just oblivious? And I'm like, I was starving in the desert, or dying in the desert of thirst for water, like a drop of romance. I'm such a romantic. I was analyzing everything around me. It wasn't happening.
What advice would you give to someone who's currently experiencing what you experienced in your 20s and early 30s?
I think the first thing,
in terms of articulating the loneliness or trying to circumvent the embarrassment, or maybe that's just part of I don't know.
I think the first thing is our brains can be super mean to us and lie. Like, they just lie. And I feel like once you acknowledge the fact that it is a lie, that you were unworthy and unlovable, and that takes some work, but it's not about you being unworthy of the dreams that you've dreamt It's about you just haven't had the opportunity for this dream of yours to come true yet. And those are two very different things. Like you can continue to go after and hope for something you don't have yet, but it doesn't mean that you're unworthy of it if it hasn't happened yet. That kind of thing.
You mentioned opportunity. You said that cuffing season was the push that got you out of that, honestly, transitional period. Mm-hmm. What was going through your mind in that moment? Like, why cuffing season?
So I remember this so clearly, but I woke up. I have a very grumpy little dog.
Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Diggory. He's a Pomsky.
Sure.
So he's fancy. But I was snuggled up with him on a snowy morning. It was like right at the beginning of cuffing season. And I realized I absolutely love my life. But if I do absolutely nothing to change it, I will wake up in 30 years and it will look exactly the same. And I wasn't okay with it. So the mental image of curling up with someone in front of a fire, or at this point, it was a little bit past the holiday season, but it was still winter. And it's a long winter in New York, as you know. That was like, it was like a positive little beacon of hope. Like just the thought of spending colder months with someone. And I feel like having that positive little visual helps you wade through all the crap you kind of have to sort through as you approach dating, and especially dating when you've absolutely never done it before.
So what did you do?
I did two things. The first was I didn't want to be embarrassed over my lack of experience, and I didn't know any way other than starting to talk about it because it was a secret. So I chose TikTok because no one followed me on TikTok.
Oh, smokes.
So I was like, I'm going to admit to this on TikTok and just start posting like little accountability videos. So it's just, it can roll off my tongue. I couldn't even say it to my own mother, like that it was so hard. Been kissed. Yes. Like it was so hard. Yeah. So I just wanted it to roll off my tongue. So I even put it in my intro. Like I was like, hi, I'm Allora. I'm 32. I've never been asked out, never been on a date, never been kissed. Cause I just wanted it to have no power over me. It is an absolute accident that those videos went viral. And that was one catapult.
I remember watching your first video, and the moment those words came out of your mouth, I was like, and follow. Like I was like, let me see what's gonna happen here.
Like it was wild. So that was one. And the second thing I did was I had done dating apps before. Like I download them, get overwhelmed or creeped out after like 2 weeks and delete them. And I did that on repeat, maybe once or twice a year for like 10 or 15 years.
Right.
So I decided I was going to issue myself a challenge, and that was to go, at the time, this was around December, January, I wanted to go on 8 dates by Easter. And the thought process behind it was, it's hard to be brave for a long period of time. You burn out on it. And dating requires such bravery and vulnerability. So I was like, if you have this respite in the near future, and you can just have every conversation, like try to engage and meet with as many people, having that finite period of time, like a season of bravery, and then you can go into a season of rest if no one's.
It's like when someone's training for like an Ironman, and okay, Ironman is like December 1st, so I have to train for the next 2 months, 3 months to prepare for that day, and then you're done. You're not training anymore. You can now rest.
Yep.
And drink the wine, have the cake.
Exactly.
So you went on. So before you keep going, I want to go back a little bit. It seems like there was an audience that resonated with what you were saying. And because most of my listeners are not going to go on TikTok, who might be in the same shoes as you, who are not going to start TikTok, would you recommend that they maybe join a support group or find a way? I mean, they could join the roundtable, my community, I suppose, but like what group how can they claim the narrative so it's no longer controlling them?
I feel like the first thing is just to know that that story is not necessarily unique. Like it is so common, but that is something, because you only see like virgin jokes in movies, and the narrative's only starting to change in pop culture. Like I had no idea there were other people in the world like me. I thought I was the only person.
Oh no, I could have told you this 10 years ago.
No idea, but it's just not. It was not really talked about. And I feel like it's becoming much more common in the last few years. But honestly, searching like the hashtag late bloomer on any platform now, there's so many more people coming forward with like and it's a feeling that you can have like in your 20s, 30s, 40s after you come out of a divorce and you're dating again for the first time, when you come out as queer later in life. Like there's so many like side shoots and things that like are associated with that. But as far as like finding community, number one, just knowing that you are not alone. Number two, there is a big late bloomer community now on TikTok, on Instagram. I do run a support group on Facebook, but anybody that you can just like, if you have a close friend even, and it's something that you can just start to like, it's like you need to let it lose its power over you, like the fear and the shame.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more you are open about it,
Right.
like if someone laughs at you, well, they're not worth your time. If someone makes fun of you,
Right.
that's not the reaction. Like that's on them.
So you went on these 8 dates by Easter.
That was the goal.
That was the goal. How many dates did we go on?
I met my ex, actually. It was the first ever date I went on.
Oh, shit.
And then those 8 dates turned into dates with him. We dated for a year.
You dated for a year.
Yeah.
He's an ex, though.
Yes.
How did you tell this boyfriend, hey, you're going to be my first kiss? Hey, you're going to be my first sexual partner? I don't know if those were the cases for both. Maybe you didn't kiss at all in that year. I don't.
No, we didn't. No, girl, it was a long time coming. So I dove in enthusiastically.
Did you tell him?
I did. I am an open book and I am not good at hiding things. So when I was messaging him, I stand by the belief that you don't owe anyone your life story unless you feel like they deserve it. So when I first started dating him, I just said I don't have a lot of dating experience. I didn't have to, and I didn't feel like he needed to know more than that until I was comfortable telling him more.
Yeah.
After our first date, I had a great time with him. He was lovely. And I was like, by the way, this is my first date. And he was like, I kind of got that vibe. You were just so like enthusiastic and excited. Like it felt different.
Wait, that was your first date?
Ever. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
And like it was just totally, his response was so normal and chill. And I will say on dating apps in the past, I would lead with, I've never been on a date. I've never been kissed. Are you okay with that? And you get all kinds of reactions and most of them aren't good. So
Right.
I felt like I wanted to get to know someone and see if they were worth my time at least a little bit before I started to just like dive in.
This is probably an inappropriate question,
I love inappropriate questions.
but only because I know of countries, and even a country that my parents and my husband are from, and I'm from, I suppose, where like prostitution is legal.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think about maybe paying a man, like a sex worker man, a male sex worker, thank you, to be your first kiss?
I absolutely thought about it. And that is a very common thing in the late bloomer community where people like wonder if this is something that would just help them.
To get it off your...
Like it feels like the older you get, like carrying around your V card becomes more burdensome than like a blessing. So I knew I feel like if I was going to bucket myself, I would identify as like demisexual. So like I feel like I need an emotional connection in order to feel comfortable with any kind of physical intimacy. So even though the thought crossed my mind of like, could we just
get this over with?
I couldn't go through with it. I know other late bloomers who have, and they felt relief, honestly, afterwards, because it was just something they didn't have to confess anymore.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I'm 35 now.
You're 35. Were you aware of Craigslist in its heyday?
I was aware of it, but like for buying furniture, like nothing else.
So you didn't know about like casual encounters?
No, not at all.
I remember in my early 20s using Craigslist to find a roommate, of course, but also there's like other things there, and like, misconnections, casual encounters. And I remember that there sometimes would be posts from people from the late boomer saying, hey, I've never been kissed. Who wants to kiss me? And you would just get like, I would assume you would just, because I've posted other things on my own on Craigslist. And you would get a flood of emails. So I'm assuming that thing would be like, oh, I remember posting on Craigslist that I want to learn how to skateboard.
Amazing.
Stupid idea. I just wanted to find. All of my friends were gone Memorial Day weekend, and I wanted to go out, but I also didn't just want to like lay on the park. So I was just like, I'm going to learn how to skateboard this weekend. That's it. Like that's all I'm going to do. So I was just like, I want to learn how to skateboard, and I got like 100 emails. Of people who were like, I'll teach you how to skateboard. Half of them were showing me their penis.
It goes hand in hand with skateboarding, apparently.
Right. I tried skateboarding with this gentleman for literally 15 minutes. And then we gave up and went to the pool bar and played pool. Nice. But at least I wasn't home, right? But I was just like, I just want to be in a public place and learn to do something new. And I'm really lazy to go make a new friend. So I'm just going to do it here. And so that's what I was just thinking about. Like, if I were in Allora's position back when I was 23, 24, I remember that was like the heyday of Craigslist. I would have totally been like, who wants to be my first kiss? But you're saying, though, because you're a demisexual, you need that emotional connection to make that happen. It couldn't just be like...
Yep. I mean, I'm sure I like to believe I can do anything, but I didn't want to do it that way.
So what date did you get your first kiss on?
Number 3.
Date 3? And like, how was it?
It was
no.
scary.
Don't. Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay, go. So you're so like, was it in the beginning of the date? Was it in the middle of the date? Was it after the date? Like, give me the details.
I had invited him over to my house.
Oh,
and yeah,
bold. But this is a person from this is a
same date.
Internet stranger.
Yeah, I mean, this was the same. My ex, right? So at this point, it was third date with him, and
so you brought a stranger to your house on the third date.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good for you.
I mean, at the time, I was also living.
My guidance is always the 5th date. If you met through Hinge or whatever.
That would have been smart. It was through Hinge, actually.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was living.
You know,
my childhood home had been broken up like into apartments, and like one of my sisters lived with her husband in one.
Oh yeah, I'm like, if I'm picturing a 10-child household's going to look like a compound. So that makes sense.
It was like this big old farmhouse.
Sure.
And so like there was people around always. So I was basically like, there was so few communal spaces, like if we wanted to use.
Less likely to get murdered.
I was literally like, once this living room door closes, nothing opens it.
Yeah.
Leave this alone.
Yeah. If my liver gets cut out, it gets cut out.
You know what I'm saying? Big deal. I'm risking it all.
We need a kiss. So before, middle, after, when did the kiss happen?
It happened almost towards the end, and I feel like I was like, I made him dinner. We were snuggling sort of snuggling on the couch. I didn't know how to get closer to him.
Was your heart beating really hard?
So fast, because we went through this whole day. We watched a whole movie, and it was like the date was ending, and I was like, he's not even going to ask me. Like, how do I do? Nope. We were on a sectional, and I told him to sit in one spot because I expected to be able to sit close to him.
Okay.
But he sat just further enough that it would have been super obvious if I moved close. So we were kind of like at an angle. And then like, we're eating popcorn, hands are awkwardly like freezing like over the popcorn bowl. But the movie ends, and I think he was nervous that it was going to be my first kiss, and he wanted it to be a good one, but also didn't want to like.
Wait, what movie were you watching?
We were watching.
Watch it be
the first season of Wednesday, Adam, the new one.
Jesus.
Yeah. So romantic.
All right, you guys kissed. Eventually, later on, you had sex.
No, we had just the kiss.
Eventually, not the same day. Later. I mean, eventually later in this relationship, you had sex. He was kind, I hope.
He was very kind and very considerate.
Could you imagine if he wasn't? He just announced that to the podcast.
My God. You suck. No, he didn't
All
suck.
Right. But you broke up eventually.
We did break up eventually.
So now in your new dating journey, our girls gotten kissed. Our girls had sex. We no longer have this identity of late bloomer. Like, that's why I called it a transition period. Because you're only a late bloomer until now you've bloomed.
Yes and no. I feel like in some ways it lingers.
Tell me.
Like the needing to know that someone is attracted to you, or needing to know that someone is fond of you, because you've gone so many years with that not being the case, like not being cherished by someone. So I feel like there is a little bit of like, I mean, I'm an anxious girly anyway, but I feel like
will I be liked again?
Yeah, and just like, am I imagining, is this in my head? And for my first relationship, he was much more reserved with like affection, like
sure,
like that verbal affirmation, or even like physical affirmations. So that made it harder because I felt like I was constantly questioning. Yeah. Well, do you actually like me? Because I don't know. I feel like I need extra reassurance here. And then my relationship now, we're such a much better fit. He cannot stop letting me know how much he means.
How long have you been dating the person you're dating now?
It's a year, actually, in a couple weeks.
Do you think you'll get married?
Yeah, we were engaged just recently.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Last
congrats.
week.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, did I know this?
I don't, probably not. It just happened.
Oh, like... Oh, okay. I'm like, did I miss a memo? Congratulations. Oh my God. Wait. We have Matchmaker mail that we have to absolutely answer before this episode ends. But like, can you just give us in like 30 seconds, like, tell us the engagement story?
What's
his name?
His name is James, but he goes by, I've been telling stories about dating. He's called the Bear. I call him the Bear online.
Okay, you have to retire that now. He has a name. He's
know,
engaged.
but that's how everyone knows him. But anyway, we
Does he look? Is he like a big guy?
He's a giant dude, 6'5", longer hair than me, big beard. It fits, big blue eyes.
You got like a Viking?
Yeah, pretty much.
Aww.
So we went to Scotland for 2 weeks. We just got back a couple days ago. And on that trip, there was a castle we both knew from the movie The Highlander.
Sure.
It's like one of the most photographed, castles in Scotland. But I wanted to do a travel transition video because, TikToker. And
yeah,
I was like, I want it to end here. I want it to we're going to jump over my phone and we're going to land with the castle.
Right.
So he knew, and he kept asking me at the castle, where I wanted to do it. And it should have raised some red flags, but it didn't, because he was looking for a place that didn't have people everywhere. And he was like, oh, this is a quiet place. Should we do it here? I was like, no, we need to do it at the front. This is a quiet place. Should we do it here? No, we're doing it at the front. So I jump over the phone when we find the spot. The castle's in the background. He jumps over the phone, pretends to fall. And in my head, I'm like, oh, are you okay? I see that he's okay. And I'm thinking, oh, we got to do this again. And he pops up with the ring box. And he's like, Allora, love of my life.
No.
I want you to be my wife. Will you be my wife? And I cried for 2 minutes.
Did you say yes?
Eventually. I was hugging him, kissing him. Eventually I was like, I meant to say yes. And he was like, we already knew. We already knew it was yes.
Allora, I'm so happy for you. Okay, before we go into Matchmaker Mail, I want to give you one last part here to promote the book. Mm-hmm. Who is this book for, and what will people gain from getting your book?
This book is for anyone who has ever felt left behind in romance, absolutely, but with a dream. If you've ever felt like your dreams are passing you by and you need to build them out or develop new dreams, and you're just trying to figure out your next step. So I absolutely wrote it as a late bloomer love letter, to anyone who's ever felt like they didn't belong. But it is honestly, it could resonate with so many people. And I already forgot the second part of your question. Oh, what was...
You answered it.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
You did great. All right, let's answer some Matchmaker Maria mail. I saved this one knowing you were coming in, so I'm really happy it's here. Hi, Matchmaker Maria. I'm 27, female, and I've never been on a date before. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. A friend is setting me up with a 26-year-old guy who also has never dated. So this will be a first for both of us. I'm excited, but honestly very nervous because I feel like I'm starting late and don't know what to expect. The truth is, I haven't gone on any dates before because I grew up in a strict household where dating wasn't really allowed. Now I'm out of the house, and to be honest, I have been shy to put myself out there. Do you have any advice for how two people with no prior dating experiences can approach a first date? How do we keep the conversation flowing? Avoid making it too awkward and still have fun without putting too much pressure on ourselves. Thanks so much for your guidance. I really appreciate it.
That's a good question.
It's a great question. Please.
So I think there's a lot of pressure when you've never been on a date ever that you are going to meet the love of your life. And then that could absolutely happen. But having that in the front of your head, not helpful. I think it's more helpful to think of a first date as, how am I going to have fun with someone I've never met before, to just deprioritize the pressure. And to be on, if you're nervous, to be honest about it. I came to my first dates with, I told them I was nervous and was just about it. And I also came with a printed out list of questions in my pocket so I could be I don't know what else to talk about. Can I ask you a question? I was ready. I leaned into the cringe. I was ready to be to avoid awkwardness by just owning it, just being yeah, this is new to both of us. And especially if the person you're also going on a date with is new to dating as well. I feel like pretending that everything is like normal and fine is weird. Like, just be authentically yourself and acknowledge that this is a total stranger. There probably will be awkward pauses. That's okay. Like,
Right.
ask a question. You're trying to get to know someone better. Like, that's the purpose of it. You're just meeting to see who they are in person and to get to know them a little bit better. You don't need to come away being like, oh my God, that's Prince Charming. Like,
I totally agree. I think we do put a lot of pressure onto first dates, regardless if you're a late bloomer, if you bloomed when you were 16. There's just a lot of pressure being on first dates, mainly because I think people go on less first dates now than ever before, right? Like, online dating apps have certainly made it easier to look for people. But if you're not using the online tools to get offline, you're not going on dates.
Yep.
Well, the advice that I would give this person is everything you just said, I think, is fantastic. To add to it, I would say, instead of having a list of questions, I would have said, have a list of things that made you laugh or be introspective or curious about. Like, maybe you listened to a really great podcast. Maybe you read a great book. Maybe you watched some documentary. Like, whatever made you go, well, I want you to write down a list, like 5 things. I mean, usually, ideally 3, but if you want to be, eldest
Extra
daughter,
prepared.
5 stars, we can put 5. But the reason why I say that is because having that in your back pocket, now you have like things to share with the hopes that they share too. I try to avoid questions as much as possible on a first date. I think this is just to talk about yourself, let them talk about themselves. Obviously, you have to ask certain questions so that they can share about themselves. But showing curiosity and showing a person that you have hobbies and interests is what is like a recipe for like a good date. And it takes the pressure off of performance, right? And then to this user, I believe I did answer quickly on Ask a Matchmaker Wednesdays. I did say, make your first date an activity date. Make it Top Golf or do a little boat tour thing. Like, you've done dinner with all of your friends.
And it's so much pressure. It's good to be able to move your body, like channel the nervous energy.
Yes. All right, Allora, this has been such an amazing conversation. For anyone listening who wants to learn more about you or purchasing your book, where can they find you?
My author website is alloradannon.com, but I'm also on Instagram and TikTok under Allora Dannon. So
excellent. And I will make sure to put those links in the show notes. Thank you again for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And we're going to be having you as well on an upcoming hotline episode. So I can't wait for you to answer more questions.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, 5-star review would be great. These simple steps help the podcast so much. And of course, while you're purchasing Allora's book, if you've yet to buy mine, they go together. Am I wrong?
They are
You've
so
read my
good.
book.
They're
You
so
did like all
good.
these TikToks about it. Like, hello. I'm so excited for Allora. I think this is a book that's absolutely needed in the dating toolkit for many people. So I can't wait to really dive into it. I know it's been a week since it came out, but I'm getting to it. Of course, be lovable, but more importantly, be likable. See you next week.